All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today. You ready?
Always ready to dive in.
Cool, cool. So today it's Walgreens Boots Alliance,
Hmm.
WBA.
Oh, yeah, the Walgreens folks.
Exactly. I was just thinking, I bet most people listening have been to a Walgreens at some point.
Yeah, pretty hard to avoid. They're everywhere.
Right. So we've got their Q1 2025 earnings release here, fresh from January 10th.
Hot off the presses.
And this isn't just some, boring earnings report. This is like a glimpse into a company that's totally changing.
Reinventing itself.
Yeah, like trying to figure out how to survive in this crazy world.
A changing landscape.
Exactly. So our mission, should we choose to accept it?
I think we should.
I think we should too, is to break down this press release.
Yes.
Figure out what's working, what's not.
What's it all mean for their future?
Totally. And hey, maybe even what it means for, our next trip to Walgreens.
Right, the real world implications.
So the CEO, Tim Wentworth, he's talking about stabilizing the retail pharmacy.
That's a big one.
Right. He mentions footprint optimization, cost control, all these kind of jargony terms.
Corporate buzzwords.
Yeah, exactly.
But they do point to some important shifts. He's admitting the old way isn't working anymore.
Like, they got to change things up.
Big time. This is the start of a long road. This is just a snapshot.
Okay, so then let's look at the numbers. Sales are up 7.5%. That's $39.5 billion.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. But here's the weird thing. They reported a net LOSS, $265 million.
Sales up, but losing money.
That doesn't seem right, does it?
Well, it's common when companies go through these big transformations.
Like, it costs money to change.
Exactly. Big investments up front. Remember that footprint optimization program he mentioned?
Yeah, vaguely.
It probably means closing some stores, investing in others. That costs money right now.
So they're like cutting off some branches to help the tree grow stronger later?
You got it.
But what does that mean for us, people who actually use Walgreens?
You might see some stores close, yeah. But the ones that stay open, they might offer more services.
Like more than just buying stuff.
Right. Expanded healthcare options, maybe?
So less about grabbing a soda and more about, like, getting your flu shot A&D prescriptions.
Exactly. Shifting from just retail to more healthcare. And speaking of which, their U.S. retail pharmacy, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, I saw that. Sales up 6.6% overall, but comparable sales, that's stores open at least a year, those are up even more, 8.5%.
That is interesting. Seems like their core business is still doing all right, even with all the changes.
So, good news there. But then we got to look closer, right?
Yeah.
Two sides to the story.
Exactly. The pharmacy side, that's booming. Sales are up 10.4%.
Wow, why is that?
Well, higher drug prices, unfortunately. We all feel that. And prescription volume's up a bit, 2.3%.
Ugh, those drug prices. But what about the other stuff? The snacks, the makeup, all that?
That's where the mix part comes in. Those sales are down 6.2%.
Really? Why is that?
They say it's a weaker cold and flu season, and, people are being careful with their money.
Makes sense. If I'm worried about paying rent, I'm not buying bath bombs.
Right, priorities shift. It reflects the whole economy. People are being cautious.
Makes you wonder how those big companies are doing overseas, though, right?
Well, actually, their international segment is a bright spot. Sales up 10.2%. Even with the currency exchange rates, they still grew 6.5%.
Huh, that's pretty good.
It is, especially with all the uncertainty in the world. Germany and Boots UK are the leaders there.
Boots UK, they're doing well.
Yeah, consistent growth in both pharmacy and retail. Comparable pharmacy sales up 10.9%, retail up 8.1%. And their online platform, Boots.com, is killing it. Sales up 30%.
30%, that's huge.
It is, and it now makes up 22% of their total retail sales.
Wow, so people in the UK are doing a lot of online shopping too then.
Seems that way. Convenience is a global desire, But while international and their core U.S. business are doing okay, they're really betting on U.S. healthcare for future growth.
Okay, that's what I've been waiting for. Healthcare, everyone say that's the future, right?
That's the buzz, and it seems WBA is jumping in headfirst.
But their report says they're still losing money there. Smaller loss than last year, but still.
Yeah, you got to remember, building a new business takes time and money.
So they're playing the long game, hoping it'll pay off eventually.
That's the idea. But to really see how they're doing, we got to look beyond just the net loss. We got to consider adjusted operating income and adjusted EBITDA.
Oh boy, more jargon.
I know. But those metrics, they take out certain costs like stock stuff. gives us a better picture of how profitable they actually are.
So it's like looking under the hood to see how the engine's running, even if the car's not at top speed yet.
Exactly. And when you look at those adjusted numbers, they are positive and growing, which suggests good things.
Okay, starting to get it. So less retail, more healthcare, it's a big change. But what does this healthcare division even look like?
Good question. Three main parts. First, VillageMD, they focus on primary care. Sales up 9%.
Okay, not bad. What else?
Then there's CareCentrix, home healthcare, sales up 16%.
All right, and the third?
That's Shields, their specialty pharmacy business. They saw a whopping 30% jump in sales.
30%. They're really doing well.
They are. Now, the report also mentions different types of revenue, risk-based and fee-for-service. Those impact profitability differently.
Uh-oh, more complicated stuff.
It is a bit complex, but basically, risk-based means WBA shares the financial risk of patient care. Higher risk, higher reward. Fee-for-service is more traditional. They get paid for each service.
So one's a gamble, the other's slow and steady.
That's a good way to put it. And the mix of those really affects their profitability.
Gotcha. Well, they're making big moves, that's for sure. But are they confident about the future?
Well, they're maintaining their full-year earnings guidance. They're still saying adjusted EPS will be $1.40 to $1.80.
So they're sticking to their guns. They sound confident.
Well, it's not quite that straightforward. That guidance anticipates growth in international and U.S. healthcare, but also declines in U.S. retail pharmacy and higher taxes.
Oh, so there's some bumps in the road ahead.
Definitely looks that way. We need to dig deeper to understand it all.
Sounds like a plan. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back with more of this deep dive into Walgreens Boots Alliance. Okay, we're back, still diving deep into Walgreens Boots Alliance.
That's right, picking up where we left off.
And last time, we were talking about their Q1 2025 earnings, and honestly, it's pretty complicated stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot going on beneath the surface.
More than just grabbing a prescription, that's for sure. So we talked about the strong sales, but also that net loss they reported.
Right. Seems counterintuitive, but it makes sense when you think about the changes they're making.
Exactly. So big bets on the future, especially with this whole U.S. healthcare expansion. But what does that actually mean for, like, the regular Walgreens shopper, like me?
Well, think of it this way. If WBA's plan works, your local Walgreens might become way more than just, a place to buy stuff.
Like more than just milk and candy bars.
Exactly. It could become a real health and wellness hub, offering primary care, chronic condition management, all sorts of things.
So less about impulse buys and more about, like, actually taking care of my health.
Exactly. One-stop shop for all your health needs. Convenient, right?
That does sound pretty convenient.
Yeah.
But realistically, how long would something like that even take?
It's not going to happen overnight, that's for sure. Remember all those investments and changes we talked about?
Yeah, the footprint optimization program and all that.
Right. Transforming a company this big, it takes time. WBA themselves said it's a multi-year journey.
So, gotta be patient. But those short-term costs, like closing stores, that must be a tough decision.
It is, but it's a strategic move, optimizing their footprint, aligning with how customers are shopping.
So it's not just about saving money. It's about being smarter with their resources.
Exactly. It's like decluttering. You get rid of some things to create a better space overall.
Makes sense. And they're doing the same thing online too, right?
Yeah.
We talked about Boots.com doing really well.
Absolutely. They're meeting customers where they are. And a lot of people are online these days. Think about it. You probably shop online way more than you used to, right?
I do. I remember when ordering groceries online seemed crazy. Now it's normal.
Exactly. And it seems healthcare and pharmacy are going the same way.
Makes you wonder what else will change. It's like these lines between retail, healthcare, and technology are all blurring together.
They are. It's fascinating. WBA is trying to be a player in all of them. It's ambitious.
They're not putting all their eggs in one basket, that's for sure. More like diversifying their portfolio.
You got it. But it's important to remember it's still a work in progress. Remember we talked about their U.S. healthcare division not being profitable yet?
Right, those pesky gap numbers. But you also mentioned those adjusted metrics like the operating income and EBITDA.
Yeah.
Those paint a different picture, right?
They do. Those adjusted numbers show improvements, even if the official net income isn't there yet.
So they're saying, hey, we're making progress, even if it's not super obvious at first glance.
That's a good way to put it. They're emphasizing the metrics they believe show the true health of the business.
I see, like focusing on the positives. It's kind of like storytelling, right?
It is. They're painting a picture of a company in transition, making moves for a brighter future. But it's up to us, investors and consumers, to decide if we buy into their story.
Right. We got to do our own research, think critically, don't just take their word for it.
Couldn't agree more. Informed consumers are empowered consumers. The more we understand, the better choices we can make.
This whole deep dive is making me think about things differently, that's for sure. It's not just about WBA, it's about these bigger trends affecting everything.
That's what's so interesting about this. We're connecting the dots, seeing the bigger picture, how it all impacts us.
It's like even just going to Walgreens, it's a window into these bigger changes happening. Speaking of, remember their full-year earnings guidance.
Right.
The one that predicts both growth and challenges.
Oh yeah, the mixed bag. On the surface, sticking with their guidance seems confident. But when you look closer, they're admitting there are some tough times ahead.
So a balanced outlook, acknowledging both sides of the coin.
Exactly. Transparency is key, and I think they're being pretty open about what they expect.
And that helps us make better decisions. Transparency is always good.
Absolutely. This whole discussion about adjusted metrics, investments, long-term vision, it shows how important it is to look beyond the surface.
Don't just take things at face value, dig a little deeper.
Exactly. Informed investors, informed consumers, that's what we need more of. The more we understand how these companies work, the better off we'll be.
Well, I'm definitely feeling more informed after this deep dive. It's not just about understanding WBA, it's about understanding how the whole industry is changing.
Exactly. We're analyzing the data, connecting the dots, seeing how these trends are shaping the world around us.
And those changes, like higher drug prices, online shopping, pharmacies doing more healthcare, it affects all of us.
You're right. It's not just some abstract business thing. It's our lives.
It is. So as we head into the final part of this deep dive, what are we going to explore?
Well, I think it's time to zoom out even further. Think about the big picture, the implications of WBA's transformation for the entire pharmacy industry.
Sounds good to me. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back with part 3 of this deep dive into Walgreens Boots Alliance. Okay, we're back. Final part of our deep dive into Walgreens Boots Alliance.
That's right. Time to wrap things up.
We've covered a lot, their financials, that whole healthcare strategy. But now I'm thinking bigger picture,
Zooming out.
Yeah, what does all this mean for the whole pharmacy industry?
That's the question, isn't it?
Because it's changing, right? New companies, new technology, it's all happening so fast.
It is. And WBA, what they're doing, it gives us some clues about what might happen next.
Like they're not just watching it happen, they're trying to be a part of it.
Exactly. Shaping the future, not just reacting to it.
It's like, though, they're trendsetters, right?
Right.
Trying new things before anyone else. Yeah.
But the big question is, will it work?
That's what I want to know. Are they on the right track or are they going in the wrong direction?
Well, one thing's for sure, diversifying is important. They're not just a pharmacy anymore. They're trying to be a healthcare company, too.
Like expanding their services, offering more to customers.
Exactly. Because selling pills and cough drops, it's not enough anymore.
So change or get left behind.
Pretty much. Pharmacies have to evolve, offer more value, whether it's healthcare services, personalized medicine, or that seamless online-offline experience.
You mentioned that before, omni-channel. It's a big buzzword. But what does it actually mean for regular people?
So imagine this. You order a prescription refill on the Walgreens app. You can pick it up at store, no problem, or even get it delivered.
Oh, that's cool. So it's all connected.
Yeah. Or say you're looking at vitamins on your phone. You can see if they're in stock at your local store and reserve them. It's all about making it easy no matter how you shop.
That makes sense. But doing that, making it all work together, that can't be easy.
You're right. It's a huge investment, technology changing how they operate. But companies that get it right, they see more loyal customers, higher sales, more profits.
So it's not just a trend, it's the future.
I think so, especially as retail, healthcare, and technology keep blending together. Offering that smooth, personalized experience, that's what will set companies apart.
And WBA, they're going all in on that, plus their healthcare push. It's bold, but is it the right move? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We will. It's a company in transition, and the outcome, it's not guaranteed. It's exciting, right?
It is. It makes you think about things differently. This whole deep dive has been really insightful. I feel like I understand the pharmacy world so much better now.
That's what we aim for, going beyond the headlines, exploring the trends, giving our listeners the information they need.
We did that today, for sure.
Yeah.
Analyzed the numbers, figured out their strategy, even got a bit philosophical about the future.
We connected the dots, showed how WBA's story fits into the bigger picture, and most importantly, we encourage everyone to think for themselves.
Don't just take things at face value, right? Do your research, ask questions.
Exactly. So what's the big takeaway here? What should our listeners be thinking about?
What should they be pondering?
I think it's this. The pharmacy industry, it's at a crossroads. The old way is gone. Companies like WBA, they're fighting to adapt.
It's uncertain, but also full of opportunity.
Exactly. And their choices now, they'll have huge consequences for healthcare down the line.
So what will happen? Will pharmacies become those health and wellness hubs we imagined, all
Mhm.
connected to our digital lives?
Will they change with the times or fade away?
It's a big question.
The million-dollar question. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be interesting to watch.
It is. The pharmacy industry's in for a wild ride. Thanks for having me. It's been great exploring all this.
Likewise, you've been a fantastic guide. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Walgreens Boots Alliance. We'll see you next time.